There's some more homework for you.
Explore yourself.
Yeah. I'm Lynn.
I'm Tanya.
And this is the Invest in Yourself course.com. We're almost kind of doing a bi-weekly podcast right now. So we'll say this is the bi-weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, let's go with that. Okay, cool. So today we're just going to kind of wing it, but I've kind of been a big fan of, or not big fan, but like I've been allowing a lot of kind of whatever kind of clicks with me to kind of follow with that. Do you know what I mean? So anything that's resonating with me, and I like to follow it. And when you read this line that you're about to read to the people, it just sparked me to maybe want to do the podcast on this. And we're just going to talk about it. And hopefully you guys can maybe snag something out of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So a wise gentleman shared this with me. It comes down to this simple truth. If you hold yourself back for one person when thousands await you, you're not only slapping your soul in the face, you're robbing those who are intended to receive your help.
So those are pretty profound words. Like, basically, I mean, you can interpret it any way that you want, but basically when there's like, well, do you want to talk about that? You want to?
Not yet.
No.
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, if there's something that you're like, if it's like a crossroads moments for you, and you're not sure which path to kind of go down, I think that's kind of where you have to sit down and you go, all right, if you attracted it, you got it, and you're not sure you want it, but then you're whatever, then I think that you're kind of robbing. And this is like when people live the shadow effect, like, and this is kind of one of the books here that I'm thinking or reading, and we're going to talk more about that later. But I think when you take those moments and you don't really kind of pursue with whatever you're supposed to kind of go, I think you rob a lot of people of all the knowledge that you gained in your travels. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So when I came out of the closet, and I could have stayed in, but I think when I came out, I think somehow it just became a journey about just becoming more authentic. It didn't have to do with being gay, straight, whatever. It just became a journey about becoming authentic. And I think a lot of people start to kind of resonate with that. They click to that, and then they get attracted to that because they want more of that in their life.
Yeah.
Right? And then then you can kind of start to, and you start to develop those really good relationships, and you start to feel good about stuff, and you start to notice the ball going in different directions than you ever thought possible.
I believe, too, that you attract a certain type of person, too, who's there and who's ready to receive your authenticity.
For sure. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, everything lines up, right? I mean, you're never giving anything without having something to give it to, or someone to give it to.
Okay.
I think. Because I could receive a whole bunch of stuff, but if I receive a whole bunch of stuff, eventually you got to circulate that out, the law of circulation. I think eventually you got to put that back out there. It's like a wave. And then whatever knowledge you came in, it goes out with it. You know what I mean? Okay. So I think that line was huge. And what I think the thing that sticks out the most is that one person that holds you back, 1,000 of people await you. Mm-hmm. Or it doesn't even have to be a person. It could be a situation. It could be a career. It could be anything, any decision that you're kind of stuck on. If you're stuck on that one decision, you might be holding back a whole wave and whole ocean of other things that are waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that.
You get that?
Well, I mean, when I first heard that quote, I think it literally, slapped me in the face.
Did it literally slap you in the face?
Like, it feels like it did. Like, I was, some sort of force or something just pushed me down and was like, listen. Like,
I'm doing a lot of research, and I'm following kind of very many different venues on whenever I do research on one. So I'm reading a lot of Deepak Chopra, I believe is how you Chopra. I read a lot of his stuff, and he kind of led me down a rabbit hole, and then I started researching Carl Jung, which is he was with Sigmund Freud, and so and that led me there, and basically these they all have these things about the unconscious and the conscious level. If you go with this book here, it's the shadow, right? So Carl Jung comes up with the theory that everybody has a shadow. And I think that when you let the shadow kind of win, or you let that not being authentically yourself, I think that's when you start to a lot of people need that. They need you to be authentic.
So it's the authenticity that is key here.
Yeah, I think being
But many times you go through this huge journey not even knowing your authentic self.
Yeah. Yeah,
some
because
people don't even tap. They spend an entire lifetime not even tapping into their authentic self
because of so many different things. Like if you follow, and I kind of wrote this yesterday in our Master Series Facebook page. If you kind of follow some of Carl Jung's theories, and this is just like the iceberg of like the tip of it, but it was something like we've evolved like from, if you believe in like the theory of evolution and stuff like that, we've evolved. And we've learned how to become like instinct and survivals and blah, 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 blah through, our evolution from, cavemen to now. And so in that, he also says in our DNA and our conscious levels, we've also learned how to become so fearful of being our authentic self, because in the years that we've evolved, people, you're put in these boxes. Like, think about, you have to be prim and proper, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to go to school, you have to work 9 to 5, you have to retire at 65, and then blah, 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 blah.
Those are all learned beliefs.
But
he says it's in
your
DNA.
It's in the conscious DNA. It's in the in the awakened conscious DNA.
I get that.
And
I agree with that.
So when you're in that conscious DNA, when like that's evolved, that's what he calls the shadow.
Those are your conscious thoughts.
Yeah, your conscious thoughts.
Those are the ones that you're aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because your subconscious is like, I believe your subconscious is, well, it's your higher self. It's your soul. I think it's your soul. It talks to you authentically, and you can. He like, I mean, you can go. I can go so deep into this.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, because I learn a lot when you talk about it as well.
But yeah, like, so basically, the shadow is something that has evolved over time, and because it's in everybody and it's evolved across the whole world, that we've collectively made it what it is now. We've collectively made it so that people are fearful to be 100% authentically themselves, because they're fearful of whatever lashback that you might be scared of. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you come into this world, like, we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Yeah. And if we don't be who we are supposed to be, then I think you rob the world of that purpose.
Yeah, there you go. Very nicely put. I mean, why the hell did I come on today?
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to read that one more time. It comes down to this simple truth. If you hold yourself back for one person when thousands await you, you're not only slapping your soul in the face, you're robbing those who are intended to receive your help. I'm going to ask him if I can quote him on this, and I would love to attach his name and his information for you guys. This, to me, relates to uncertainty.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Well, I think the uncertainty is all the things that it boils down to one word, which is fear. I think when you're fearful of something, you become uncertain of something. And when you're uncertain of something, it's because you're fearful of an outcome.
Unclear. Unclear is fear?
I think so. I think in a way it's a fear, because if you weren't unclear about something, you wouldn't, like, if you weren't fearful of the outcome, you wouldn't be unclear of something. Does that make sense?
Fearful of the outcome, or fearful of not knowing the outcome?
Not knowing the outcome. Fearful of, I know in this book he talks a lot about fear being like a fog, an illusion of fog. Like, you just have this fog around you.
That's kind of like that. The unknown, right?
Yeah, the unknown. You just don't know what's beyond that border. And I think if you're unclear, I mean, if you're unclear about something, it could be because you're not allowing the answer to come to you, because you keep diving yourself into the problem.
Well, I always love that, and this is where our debate came in before, right? Was I always love that saying, and I honor this with everyone that I work with, is that, and I honored myself too, when you're on a certain path and you're on a certain journey and you continue to make the same choices time in and time and again, like over and over and over again, and you keep getting the same result, right? Yeah. Like, I love the quote, and I don't know who said it, and I'll probably butcher it again, but it's basically that then you still have something to learn.
Yeah.
You still have something to learn. And I always honored that. I was really uncomfortable many times because it's like I was so uncertain or unclear, but I again honored it because there was always something to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, get into what your belief about that.
I do and I don't agree with that. I agree with that in the sense that, I mean, and trust me, like, everybody that knows me is going to attest to that. Like, when you're not ready for something, you're just not going to allow that something to happen. You just won't. And it's, again, I don't know if it's just, again, the fear of just not knowing what your outcome is going to be. You just don't know if it's because you're ready to let it go, if it's whatever the reason is. Mm-hmm. If it's to learn more lessons or if it's to, I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that, but I don't 100% agree that you just keep making the same mistakes again. Eventually, you got to kick yourself in the ass and you got to say, okay, here's my decision, like, and then go with it and just deal with whatever the...
But, again, everything happens at its own time. You are where you're supposed to be. Where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And everything happens for a reason. And if you have all these beliefs, and you know what? Maybe now is the right time, and before it wasn't the right time.
Yeah, I believe that too. But I think though, if you're authentically stuck, that's one thing. But I think it's such a cop-out for so many people to use that as an excuse.
Okay. So there is a difference between knowing and really experiencing uncertainty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, fine, you get the answer. You feel the certainty, you feel the clarity, but you choose this over that just out of fear or out of whatever the case is.
And then using the excuses of, oh, I'm not sure or I'm unclear.
Yeah, but in your spiritual journey, you're going to know that. You're going to know that. And once you actually sit there and you feel it, you feel that certainty. Certainty's got to be like one of the highest vibrations out there.
Yeah.
Okay, uncertainty.
That there was.
Sure. Uncertainty to me is one of the most toxic emotions out there that I have ever experienced.
Yeah.
Uncertainty kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Kicked it. One of the lowest freaking emotions out there.
I think so. I think so because you can't even stand on. It's so uneven ground and such uncertain footing and stuff like that.
We'll talk about it. Like you, I think, with your coming out story and everything like that, like you must have experienced uncertainty.
Oh, 100%.
And how did it feel compared to feeling certain? Dude, this is what's going on with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
talk about that.
It's huge, right? Like when you're not sure. Even if I knew I was, but when you're young...
Did you, though?
Well, when I was younger, I kind of questioned it, but I was like, no, I'm not gay. And then when, certain things happen, and then I was like, well, am I? Like, and then you start to ask, but then it's like... But, I had a discussion with a couple of my friends, and they said it was probably harder. It's harder for women my age to come out, especially, like, we were married, had kids, blah, 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 blah. And, there's a lot in our circle that have to deal with that. And my other friend, she came out when she was in her 30s. So, and she was engaged as well. So, like, we already have this life established. So that's where I think a lot of the fear comes in. And that's where a lot of the uncertainty comes in. Because you're like... I'm married. I have kids. I have this life. I've created this already, and I have to leave this now? Like, so that was, like, horrible, because now I had to not only
that, if I could throw this in there.
Sure.
You're married, you have kids, you chose this lifestyle, and now you find out that
you're not even really attracted to your husband? Like, or, you are and you're not.
Well, not even, like, in terms of being gay, but just in terms of maybe not, there's no connection. We created all this, and the connection's gone, and it's time. Like, we have to separate now.
Yeah,
like what?
Like when you believe that when you believe, like when I got married, I really believed that it was going to be like the forever thing and blah 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 blah. And I mean, as the years went by, and we started to drift apart, and then these kind of questions started creeping up in my mind, and then or
we can relate it to something else. You went to school for 8 years to become a what? And now you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge.
It is huge.
So then what do? Oh, I went to school for this long. I invested this much time, this much money in it. So I'm gonna be unhappy in my job for the rest of my life.
That's all in here too. This is the quote that I was pulling up there. Change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. That's Bob Proctor.
Yes.
That's the one I was looking for. I think it's all a choice. Everything's going to change around you. It's going to, because that's just the world. It's just the universe. Everything's going to change because my life is never going to stay the same. So if my life doesn't stay the same, it's not going to stay the same for you, because I'm going to keep going. And if you're not going with your journey, then, you know, everything's going to change. It's going to be up to you to decide whether or not you want to kind of go with that ball as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to change. So do you fear that and hold back?
And it comes
do you
back,
just let it go and see what happens?
It comes back to how I started the very first workshop that we put on, was that, how do I butcher my own freaking quote? You're never done. Help me. What was it?
You're
Life is never done.
Yeah. Your journey's never done.
Your journey's never done. Nope, that's not it.
No.
Fuck. But you're never done. You're never done. Life is never done. If you're done, you're stuck. Yeah. Pretty much, right?
You're done learning.
So, you're never done learning. You're never done evolving. We're never done evolving, right? Like, if you are, you're stuck. Yeah. And it's wonderful to be grateful for everything that you have, but never be satisfied. Because if you're satisfied, you're not moving forward.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That makes complete sense to me.
Did I somehow get my quote in there?
Yeah, you did it. Maybe we'll look that up again and repost it again. We'll go back to the workshop and look that one up. But yeah, I think, you know, like, you want to make sure that you're allowing your life to keep expanding, because if you kind of hinder it just being satisfied, okay, so you got the big house, you got the boat, you get to travel, but if you kind of stunt it here and you don't allow more, like, do you not think that that's going to get stale after a while? I think that would get pretty stale. I think it gets pretty boring after a while.
Because it's in us. We gotta keep moving forward. We gotta keep progressing. Yeah. We gotta keep progressing. That's just who we are.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm a firm believer that, you know, I was created from the universe, blah, 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 and the universe is it's not even done expanding yet. So if the universe isn't done expanding, how am I never going to not expand? Like, I'm always going to expand. So, yeah. So, beautiful quote. I'm probably going to, I've already kind of cropped it and whatever else. I'm definitely going to, print that out and keep it around, because but isn't that an amazing thought though for everybody like that watches these podcasts? Like, isn't it an amazing thought to think that you were created to inspire, teach, affect, change somebody's life? We were all born to create something, and we were all born to help somebody. We were all made to give to somebody, and like, isn't that like a killer thought to think that?
Absolutely. And you know what else, guys? Here's your homework.
Here's
your homework. Is make a list of people who are affected in a positive way by having you. Hey, Sassy. By having you around without you even doing anything. Yeah. I.e., your children, your animals, your whatever. You don't go out intending to impact their lives, but make a note of everybody around you whose lives you impact by doing nothing. Just by being you alone.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got an email the other day from somebody, like a complete random person that read one of my blogs, and she's like, "What perfect timing for this blog to come out." And
nice, I saw that.
You know, and I was like, "Wow!" Like, I just wrote something, but it affected that person, and it changed that. And then I got a bunch of text messages from this blog that they were like, amazing blog, whatever. But just by being you, I just wrote and look. And
that was the best part of starting these classes, is that I was I'm not going to be someone else.
Yeah.
I am not going to be someone else. This is who I am. This is how I talk. I don't have perfect English. I don't have perfect grammar. I'm a shitty speller.
Yep.
But I don't care. Like,
we almost make jokes
to,
about it now. Like,
I do.
Like,
when I'm writing on the whiteboard, I'm like, can
somebody
you
help me write this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Yeah.
Why do you have to pick the big words? I'm like, and then even when I'm working with the kids in the school, I'm like, okay, guys, help me out, okay, with the spelling, please.
It's been a few years since we were in school.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, because you used to coach, like, when we first started, like, any of this stuff, I was like, why are you coaching like that? Like, that's not really who you are. Well, no, but, like, I mean, she would coach how you were, but it was almost like you tried to be.
No, it wasn't that. That was the first time that I was teaching a class, and I was just finding out how I do it. I was finding out. I remember. I don't remember if it was a phone call or if we texted or if it was a face-to-face conversation. I'm like, why are you coaching like that? Like, and she's like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, she's like, did I suck? I'm like, no, you never suck. Like, because she's a really good coach. She's like an amazing coach. But it was like, coach how you are. Coach how you talk. Like, you swear you're a potty mouth. I wouldn't
girl.
swear.
Like,
I wouldn't.
She wouldn't swear. She'd be like, oh, poop. Like,
no, I didn't say that.
But you know what I mean? Like, I mean, say shit. Just say it.
It took me a while to do that.
Yeah. I mean, we're all adults here at the end of the day. Like,
now I am.
Yeah, now we say it.
I used to think, oh my gosh, I should be a grown-up. I should dress like a grown-up. I should act like a grown-up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I should eventually act like a grown-up too.
No, you shouldn't. I think you should all be who you are.
You know, and yeah, so just be you. If anything that you can get out of
the
this whole
authenticity,
just be you. Because being you, like, yeah.
Thanks for your time today.
So there you go, y'all. All right. Do we want to tell them about what's happening on April 18th?
Oh, yes. We have a workshop on April 18th.
Yes,
however, what kind of workshop is it, techie person?
It's going to be a webcast. So
a live webcast.
A live webcast. So it's not going to be a podcast, and it's not going to be a webinar because it's not pre-recorded. It's going to be live, and it's going to be
interactive.
You're going to be able to chat via online. We're going to have a big group thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to get an interactive Facebook page going on at the same time so that we can kind of, I'm going to have about 3 computers there with me so that I'm going to be able to interact and we can keep the Facebook page going on. And
go ahead, sorry.
Oops. And yeah, so it's going to be, what, about an hour?
I'm thinking about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
I think we do about an hour and a half.
And yeah, you guys get to just watch it from your bed. PJs, cup of coffee.
Oh, again, it's free. Yeah.
This one's free.
I was going to say, like, if you buy it, you want to invite a friend over, totally fine.
No, yeah,
but this one's free. So, yeah, get together and do this because if it's interactive, you guys, like, you just interact with us, ask the questions. I answer your questions, you know, make a comment or two or something like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We'll design it so that we have, if there's, we'll get like a list of questions and then we'll like make some time for those questions to be answered so that it's not going to interrupt the flow of it.
Sure.
And then I think that's going to be a little bit better of yeah, because you don't want it to be like hiccuping, right?
Mm-hmm. So if you've ever attended one of our workshops before, this lady here is going to take care of all the techie stuff.
Yep. I'll
throw the information at you. And we're also going to be offering, I don't know if you guys have attended our last workshop that we just did, Getting Unstuck and Moving Forward in Your Life. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put something together. So, and that's going to be like a free training kind of thing.
Free training.
And please share that with all your friends and see if it resonates with them as well.
Yeah, so this is going to be killer. Like, we've got so much stuff coming up. Like, we're already planning well into into the fall.
Year,
Okay, have a great couple of weeks. I guess we'll be back every 2 weeks. Eventually, this is just going to become a weekly occurrence again.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's just going to start.
I think so.
Yeah, why not? It's fun.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it too.
Okay.
All right. Have a great couple weeks, everybody. See everybody level 1 Master Series this week. And, yeah, stay on the details for April 18th stuff.
Yes, April 18th, April 18th, April 18th.
We'll let you know on the times and stuff like that. All right?
On April 18th.
On April 18th. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.